Hello and welcome to round 5, game 1 of the Fistful Dice Store Championship taking place in Portsmouth in early February 2016. Unfortunately, the videos for round 4 were really corrupted and just not usable at all. So we're skipping straight from round 3 to round 5 here actually. So on the left we've got Ian playing Chaos Theory, and on the right Simon is playing his Industrial Genomics deck, which you've just seen. So legal packs here, in case you weren't aware, up to Caligoda. Ian just taking a mulligan, but Simon just getting the game going. So hedge fund for Simon to start with. So this is the final round of the Swiss, and these are the top 2 players at the moment. So both, I think both have already qualified as it is, just playing for top seed, but essentially. Simon installs a card, passes turn. So there's a film critic from Ian early, which is going to help if he can get any future perfects. Click 2 runs R&D, sees the feat of AI which he puts on the film critic, and then takes 2 clicks to put that into his score area. So Simon activates his tech start up there. So film critic can be a really great card against IG. Simon not running a lot of ice, so Ian could just keep hammering R&D each turn, just hoping to see those future perfects. He's already 2 points to the good now. 2 future perfects would wrap it up. There's a shock there off top of R&D. Simon uses Jackson, and Jackson's just going to allow Simon to overdraw and fill archives with face down cards, which is just going to benefit Simon's ID ability. So in case you missed the videos from the last round, this is pre-bioethics, so Simon's not playing the Biologs Industrial Genomics deck, which has killed Netrunner and ruined the game forevermore. There might be a tad hint of sarcasm in those comments. Simon just picking what he's going to keep in his hand there. Yeah, it's a Shiku, a shock. I'm not sure what that was. Definitely kept a snare in hand, I noticed, and he's just putting a die out there to keep count of those face down cards. So Ian runs R&D, sees a card which he's checking. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, click 2, Ian runs the archives. Yeah, so I'm just going to use Jackson to take about 3 cards, leaving a shock and a CQ. So Ian's going to choose to access a shock first, then he's going to access a CQ. So yeah, Simon puts 4 credits in, which means that Ian's going to take that as minus 1 agenda point. Ian running R&D again, and then click 4 is just dieseling, getting some cards back into his hand. Simon takes his mandatory draw. Click 1 to draw again. 2 ice on R&D, which is just going to negate that film critic strength just a little bit. Takes a credit, discards a card. So that's Da Vinci. Whenever you make a successful run, place a power count on Da Vinci. You can trash that at instant speed to install a card from your grip with an install cost equal to the number of power counters on Da Vinci. This is what they call Shaper BS. Shaper has access to lots of instant speed install effects in various ways. Self-modifying code, normally the obvious one, but Da Vinci kind of gives you the SMC option out of hand. So Ian accesses a Ronin from HQ then, just deciding whether he's going to trash it. Obviously the face down card and archives is to increase the trash cost on that if he does choose to. Ian's just weighing up the options here. It's amazing how even just that one extra credit to trash a card can make you sort of think twice. When IG really does get a lot in the archives, and if possibly even protect the archives, it gets really oppressive. So I don't know how aware Ian is of how Simon's deck works. I don't know if sort of rumours or stories of his games are starting to spread around the room. It's not a big tournament, so players would be somewhat aware of what's going on around them. So Simon hedge funds there just to get some money. So future perfect there in hand, and yeah, ice on HQ. Just going to protect that just in case he does manage to get in with the film critic. That was a levy, I think, there that Ian just drew. Instills technical writer and self-modifying code. So Simon's just weighing up his options. Can't see what's inside his hand right now. We know he's got a future perfect. I think I saw an archive memories and Mushin Notion. And he's putting out. Didn't see what that was, unfortunately. So 3 advancement tokens of that. This will be interesting just to see how Ian reacts to this. Now, Ian, this almost becomes like a double bluff mind game. Ian's got a film critic, so if that is an agenda, he can quite happily just take it. Even if it's a feat AI, it's not going to do any damage, anything like that. However, Ian knows Simon knows that, which means Ian knows that Simon would only put out a trap. But then, obviously, you go deeper down the rabbit hole, and then you think Ian knows that Simon knows that Ian knows that, and does Simon then motion out an agenda? So will Ian check it? Mind games within mind games. Ian's just said to Simon there, this is either a massive bluff or a massive score, and Simon, rather gentlemanly, just agrees with him. So which is it? Will Ian call him on that? Now, from Ian's reaction as saying this is a massive bluff or a massive score, might mean that he's not respecting the Ronin. Ian here just saying he wonders if it's cerebral overwrite or not. Simon is saying completely stony faced there, giving nothing away. No movement, no facial reactions. But Ian's going to install at Aesop's pawn shop. Click 2, draw. He's going to check it. It's a snare, yeah. So Simon pays the force to do 3 net damage. That's a scavenge, a daily cast, and a levy. It does leave Ian floating a tag as well. So Simon just takes the mandatory draw. Trash the film critic? It's got to be, yeah. Trash film critic, click 1. Simon's next play here. Not overly fussed about the Aesop's of the technical writer. Draws and just money's up again. Be interesting to see if Ian feels it's worth clearing that tag. He's not flush for money. He's got 2 resources installed, but Simon himself doesn't have a lot of money to spend time trashing those. So Ian might feel he's safe just floating at the likelihood of Simon running any kind of sort of scorched, frail, closed accounts, anything like that doesn't seem likely. He clears attack anyway. With the technical writer slowly building up money, it is going to become more and more tempting for Simon to trash it. There's a hedgehog from Simon. Further second ice on R&D. Just shoring that up. So Astrolabe could definitely do work in this matchup. Simon, not necessarily heavy on the remotes, but obviously his real outs to winning do require remote play. Simon's deck isn't built out to score in any way. It's really built around the kill, and to do the kill it does require some remotes to be set up. He's going to have to put out some Ronins, put out Chairman Hero, maybe even some Psychic Fields. So there's a new remote which triggers the Astrolabe. Simon here just going to money up, I think. Will Ian decide to check this new remote? Possibly not. He's probably aware that Simon's not really built to score. 3 face down cards, actually up to 4 face down cards now. So nothing's cheap to trash at this point. Even a 0 cost trash is now becoming rather expensive. Ian just swapping some tokens there just to clarify his money situation. What is Ian's play here? Ideally, would want to be pressuring that R&D, but with the film critic now gone and only the 1 SMC and 2 cards installed, it's not overly tempting. Okay, so click 2 draw there for Ian. Installs clone chips. That does give him access. So it gives him access to SMCs. He's actually got 2 SMCs out now, so he can start to install stuff. With the Astrolabe giving the extra MU, he can fire an SMC, clone chip it back, fire that, and fire the 3rd SMC to sort of set himself up barrier, code gate, sentry if he requires. I don't think Simon's running a lot in the way of barriers. In fact, he may not be running barriers even. Himitsu Bako is the obvious in-faction barrier choice. Simon just figuring out what his next move is, I think. Installs what I think was a snare there, and then discards a card. So click 1 to clone chip. Plenty of money on that technical right now. It's got 6 or 7 credits there. I think it is 6 credits. So yeah, he runs that snare. It's an Atman, a Flare, and I think it was Hunting Grounds. It gets a tag from the snare, but clears it with click 3. Ian just went out, actually, he hasn't trashed the snare because obviously it's actually going to cost him 5 credits, and that's not really something he wants to be doing. Simon, obviously Ian knows what it is now. Simon does have the option of actually installing an asset over that snare, which would actually prevent the astrolabe draw. However, he's going to install Jackson, which does get the astrolabe because it is a new remote. Simon possibly could have done the Jackson over the snare just to prevent the astrolabe draw, just because it may benefit Ian just to be drawing that extra card. It's giving Ian more options there. Although on the flip side of that, you can always argue that actually by putting cards in the runner's hand, maybe you just sort of slow down their options, especially with SMCs out. If the cards are in hand rather than in the stack, then SMC can't access them. Click 1's a Mimic, which I think is actually the card that the astrolabe put into his hand. Take some credits, runs HQ. No res from Simon, which means Ian's in. There are agendas in hand. Season Euro. And then Ian's 4th click is just going to be a draw. Passes the turn back to Simon. There's a click 1, click 2 Mushin Notion from Simon. That will trigger Astrolabe if either of the players notice. Ooh, Simon's going to advance the card that he's just Mushined out. So the Mushin Notion and then advancing that card really is a massive tease to Ian. Just saying, you really do have to respect that. You either got to call the fact that it's a June bug or Cerebral, or just allow him a Ronin that's ready to fire. Ian again just saying, if that's a Project June bug, you either flat mine me or kill me with your EMP next turn. So should I run it? Simon again just staying really quiet. The sort of banter back and forth between players is always awesome in Netrunner, but when you do get these sort of moments of real big decisions to be made on what a card it is or is not, it can be really hard sometimes as a corporation player to just sort of sit there silently. So Daily casts me and he elects to leave the Mushin card. What can Simon do with that now? Oh, Simon triple advances that card that's been sat there for some time. So now the double Ronin threat is on the table. So if this is double Ronin, on Simon's next turn he can just advance, res them both and fire them both. And that is game for Ian. So Ian has to run one of those two. He can't leave them both on the table. Now, which does he want to upset? Ian just saying that there's so much death in this deck, which Simon laughs at. Simon playing quite stony face, but he will laugh at that. Ian just decided how many of his cards he cares about in his own words. Just confirm what the face-up cards are in R&D there, or in Archive, sorry. So Ian was a third clone chip, runs Archives. So I'm going to pop the Jackson that he's got to put back. I think it was Future Perfect. I didn't see what the first one was. I'm pretty sure the second was a Future Perfect. And a Mushin. So we see another Shock and a Shiq, as well as the Shock we already knew about. The other cards are Cyberdex Virus Suite, Psychic Field, and is that Diversified Portfolio? Okay, so 2 Shocks fire, Shiq. Ian has to run one of those 2 face downs with the advancement token, so he can't leave them both. Which will he go for? Oh, Ian's just noticed there he doesn't actually have enough memory to have the Da Vinci installed. Simon's just agreed that he can set it to ASOP, so he doesn't mind that. Yeah, the Shiq he's going to take into his score area. Going to run that card. Sees the Ronin there, which he can afford to trash now after running out. And then draws up to, I think that was 3 cards or 4 cards. Neural EMP. Yeah. Ian knew it was coming there, and that was the other Ronin. So it was the double Ronin kill. Ian quite right. I mean, if he had ran that other Ronin, he could have also trashed that one as well. But quite equally, if it's a Cerebral or a Junebug, then that's game for him. So it is a tough decision to be put in as a runner. That's kind of what Simon's deck does. He's got no intent of scoring. I have a feeling up until this point, he may not have actually scored any agendas as yet today. Obviously, I think his Corp deck is unbeaten at this point as well, without having scored a single agenda. Just puts the runner in really awkward situations. IG, as I was saying in the previous video, is something not a lot of people were running at the time or used to seeing, so not sure how to react against. And just asking questions of the runner that they don't really have answers for. So Simon picks up the first win in this round, and we'll be back briefly with round 2.